Okay.
Yep. Now.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a presentation,
Hello.
History Comes to Life. Today we're going to showcase you our project. It's from the broadcast station ZDF, the first innovation project in 360-degree in a big scale. And we're going to show you how we integrated CGI and 360 footage, what we did and how we did it. And let's start. Make history immersive again. So first of all, who are we? We're ZDF Digital. We're a production company based in Mainz. We are a data company of the ZDF. And we do numerous productions. That's the three main parts of our company. We come from the content. We do storytelling, and our base is technology. We try to incorporate state-of-the-art technology and techniques in our work. And from that, we make products for national and international clients, and in the fields of TV, broadcast, social media, apps, website, 360-degree, and virtual reality. So, and we're the guy fixing it in the post. So we're from the motion design department of ZDF Digital, and we're doing all kinds of animation, VFX, broadcast design, on-air design, motion graphics, and so on and so on. And this is how we are. Are we sitting right? Yeah. So that's me, Michelmann. I'm the head of the motion design department, and also in this project I was a visual effects supervisor, and most of the time I did a lot of lighting, shading, integration, and compositing.
Yeah. And my name is Mario Hill. I'm a VFX and motion artist, passionate in fluid and pyro simulation, and all kind of dynamics. Reflow is a main tool of me, and also Cinema 4D, the plugin Reflow for Cinema 4D, sorry. And but yeah, enough. Let us show our show reel. Oh, sound. Okay. Today we want to speak about our History 360 project. History 360 is a 360 experience which you can visit historical places in Germany via VR classes. Different virtual worlds we create to give the user the feeling to traveling through different epochs of time. So we are showcasing the 360 project, which contains many CGI and visual effect shots.
Yeah, and the whole project consists of three big parts. There's an interactive VR experience, which is only based in Tempelhof in Berlin, a closed airport there, and you can interact there. You are in the rooms and the bunkers of that airport, and you can visit other places and interact with the story. And at the end, we're giving you a little teaser of that. There's also a big online platform which connects different political, historical, cultural contents with in a timeline. And the main part we're going to show you are the 360 movies. And
yeah. This is the user goes to a time travel. We have 7 different historical places in Germany. There's Hamburg with the harbor and the economy. Then we are in Frankfurt. This is the development to a modern city with the skyline and the stock market. Also, we are in Goseck. That is a German Stone Age sun observatory from the Stone Age. And also, we are in Berlin Tempelhof, the closed airport, history of aviation. So combined with the stories of the World War II and the Cold War. So by the way, that's my favorite place. It's so much fun to in Berlin with all the pyro stuff and the simulations, the explosions. Now you see it. It's it was a very fun project. And Nuremberg is also a medieval town where numerous innovations were made, like the first pocket clock. And then we goes to Weimar, National Theater with Goethe and Schiller guiding us through the time. And also Zeche Zollverein, Ruhr area with the coal mines from 1700 to nowadays. At the moment, the 5 historical places are already finished. So first time we can show it at the Republika in Berlin next week. So should someone in Berlin next week, so visit us at the Republika. And yeah, do it again.
Yeah, and there are 3 main components of the storytelling that guiding us through the movies, through the episodes. At first, we have the host. Well, he's the key guidance. He walks around, he discovers the place for us, and he also explains what's happening because he has a historical background. The second part is the spatial audio design. So we have the original environment we can listen to, and we have also the sounds of the CGI effects we added. So we are going to hear where we're supposed to look. And of course, most of the time the host was filmed alone in a lonely place, in a lost place. So we added numerous CGI effects to add to the storytelling. So, and this is the main part we're going to talk about, but right now we're going to show you the effects reel with the best of the 5 episodes of History 360. All right, and the whole production was done in-house at the company, and so we also developed an own camera rig because we had no right system ready camera rig for us, which was could make videos in high quality. And just to show you, we had then how the whole thing works. We do the stitching. Maybe most of people know how it works. We have all the camera angles and the views. And from that, we go in the stitching software, and this software looks where overlapping places on the picture. You can see all the control points there. And at the end, you get the equirectangular projection. And this is the working space we work in. So we have this kind of view with the 6 axes and with 3 axes and 6 vanishing points. So we have the front in the middle, then the left and the right, and the outside is the back of the camera. So when you work in it, you're going to be used to that. And pre-production was also the key because most of the shots were one-shots. So we have the actor walking around, and if he says something wrong or a car honks too loud, we have to start over and over again. And we have to layer our shots. So the purple point is the host, the white point is the camera, and when we move around into a scene, we have to layer the next scene with the same distance from the host to the camera at the same angle in the second scene. And then he moves again, and also similar to that, you have to make the third scene the same level. So everything has to be a big choreography because we can't change it afterwards. We have to react to the host. The CGI is bound to that, the way he looks, the way he talks, where he shows, where he looks at. And then between the scenes, we made some organic and smooth transitions because we don't want to cut them. And he's also traveling through time, so the best way was to make a portal and change him time and location. And CGI was also used to guide the look of the user. In this scene, we had the problem where the bird was at the first time at the left. Most people looked. But the more important part was to look at the immigrants at the right side. So we just insert the bird to fly in front of the user and make them look right. Yeah, and now we're going to show you the first few steps how to set up a scene in Octane and Cinema 4D.
Okay, so just
Du musst noch Escape drücken.
okay. Like this. Okay. So we make a new scene. Also, we can talk a little bit over there.
Yeah. So you do the first steps.
Yeah, I do the first steps.
We did it with the Octane camera because Octane has also the 360 camera, and the good point for us was we can see it live what we do. So we don't have to measure everything exactly where the positions of the host and everything were. We can do it just by eyeballing it. So in that scene, we have one of the scenes in Frankfurt at the skyline.
Yeah.
And this is the platform of the top of the building.
And then we have our host. Here we are.
Yeah.
So.
And we know that from the coordinates, we know we're 80 meters above the ground with that. And we know the size of the platform. And we always know our camera rig was 1.70 meters high because it was the height of the eye line of the host.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is always the first step we did. So on a static camera where the camera doesn't move, it's that simple. You put in the camera at the exact height, you measure out the ground, and then we use the actual footage in the background. So we need the environment.
In the environment.
And we use the footage as an HDR environment. So that works also good when you have reflective materials in the scene. The video, which is a 360-degree video, is actually doing the lightning at the object. So if then everything is set up, you can see the first images. And the camera has to be octane. There.
Just a second.
Yeah,
So
you can
okay,
also do it
check.
with the regular cinema camera right now, with the spherical, but you just have to put the camera mode on spherical, and then you see on the left side, you see our picture, and that is the working space we work in. And then we put on the floor a matte, a shader as a matte object.
Like
So
here.
yeah. So you can see now, the floor is the matte object. So everything we put on the floor has a contact shadow, and
Oh,
we
it's
know where the scene is.
Fix it a little bit.
All right.
And here. Sorry.
Yeah. So if we put the character and the of the host and the standard figure in cinema at the same position, we can see where the distance is.
Again. So.
Okay.
So now we have this plane, and then.
Okay, and that's what I meant. We do eyeballing. We just put the person at the correct spot, and then we have the ratio from the camera to the person, and everything we add in 3D is a car, is a clock, is everything. We can just put it directly into the scene and see which position it will have in the whole scene. So what we did in this shot was putting big flat screens at the skyline. So the first things we do is we block the scene out. So here we do a square into the scene, and then we have to reload. Yeah, and there you can see this the square in the background, and then we eyeball again to match it. Well, we know what the scale of the buildings are and how high they are, and after that we put in the scale, and I guess we can show the scene with the skyline finished.
Okay, we can also like this.
So
and
if you match it correctly, will it work?
Like this. So also second.
And if you have the right timing and everything, you can see we put it in the correct buildings, which we use as matte objects, and on that matte objects we put on the monitors. So in the next step, just I can show you the next scene with all the monitors.
Yeah.
So and that is the animation. And after you have set up one scene, like the shots were like 3 to 4 minutes long, and there was a lot of happening at the skyline, you can just use that scene and put in everything you want. We put in the statues, we put in different kinds of cars flying through the room, it rains money, and we just did it on that plane that we have. So if you make the first setup right, it's easier to go on in the later stadium. So let's go back to the presentation and show the scene. Yeah, just stop Octane. No. What was?
Just a second.
Okay, there.
Here. Right.
All right. And that is the finished scene in the rectangular point of view. And this is a scene, how you will see it in the VR glasses. And after that, we put on some textures and some images. And we used it all the time. Everything the host says, we just put some different things on the screen. So there were some scenes we did set extensions. And set extensions are often, well, there were some things we didn't think of in the first place. So if you have a regular flat movie, and we have an ocean and a ship coming through, we have like one scene that's 10 seconds, then a cut, then another scene. But the problem was this scene was like 2,000, 3,000 frames long. So we have to render everything. We wanted to simulate the ocean first, but there were too many
particles. It's such impossible to simulate the whole 3,100. I know it directly, exactly 3,169. So that was a massive scene for it, and it's not possible to simulate the whole ocean about the 3,100 frames.
Yeah, and that's something we learned. We have that scene with where we have, I don't know, it's also like 3 minutes long, and there was a fire burning all the time. And we didn't think of the render times at first one because it's 4K all the time, and we have to render a lot of passes and a lot of frames. And then sometimes we had a little trick, like the set extension here. We were in Hamburg, and we added a lot of boxes and crates into the background. So the trick was just render one frame because nothing moves, and then we render different light passes and make them change the opacity, and then it seems like the light of the candles integrated the boxes and the crates better. And if you and things that move in the scene, like the bird on the left, we rendered in a single pass and add everything together in compositing. And one technique we did it. Well, there wasn't a first technique at the beginning. Like here, when the doors open, we wanted to do camera projection. But there is no real 360-degree camera projection, which projects the texture on the object in a sphere. So we did a little workaround, and I'm going to show you how we did it. So I'm going to make a new scene. Close Octane. So what we'd use the Cineversity VR rig, but we didn't use to render it, just to set up the scene. Because Cinema now has an own 360-degree camera rig. But the point is we have 6 cameras, like a real camera rig. And I use the sky, and we have just a second. The materials. And we have our original pic of the scene. No, I don't want to. And I put it on the sky, and this is a 360-degree footage of Tempelhof, where I make it in a bigger resolution so you can see. So this is the inside of the Berlin airport. And we kind of did it backwards. So I used every camera and put the output into a square format. So I can shoot, like the real camera rig, a square from every location. So we end up with these 6 pictures. No, thank you. And if we now put in an object, like we want to build the whole setting again. So let's look at what is it? The left camera. So I take the material of the left camera. It's which one is the left? No. Down, forward, up, right,
Last one.
and left. Of course, that's the last one. So I put it on the cube. Put everything on camera mapping into a square format, and then oh, it's not square. Square. And then we put in the left camera here. And as you can see, if we do it right, it projects the airport inside the square. So with a little bit of more modeling, like putting the lines ready and everything, you can emulate the airports. You can model out all the doors and everything, and that's what we did. Or, well, we didn't. We actually were at the airport, in this case, because we do the VR experience, and we scanned it. We did photogrammetry. We're going to show that later how we did it. And so we had an actual 3D model with the right scale of the airport. And so from every camera, I can show you the model. We projected the texture on the model, and you get a 3D model of the airport from the point of view of the camera, which works quite well. And then you can things like open the wall, because the textures you bake in and put them in Octane, or we open up the roof and the textures stick to the geometry. So just to show you, I left the roof open just to show you better. So if I put in another texture between and things, you can see how it works. So this is the bottom one, and if I get another one, you can see how it projects here in this case. So we project in 6 different directions to get the whole texture. Yeah, and this how we do projection. And let's go back to the presentation. Well, it was a neat hack that we did it that way, because we also can use the whole that's an hard word, rectangular map and put it like in After Effects and other things and convert it back to an cube map.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
This is here like a work in progress shots from our scenes in Hamburg with the Harper. This is now made in Reflow 10. That was the scene inside the room when the chip go through our host and splash him out. And so you see this integration with Reflow mesh and Krakatoa particles in Cinema 4D. So we have a first simulation time with over 52 million particles, around 6 hours, including the foam and the splash and the dust and also. So, but we have quite a fast machine, so it's not so heavy. But we have different parts of it, so we must do the secondaries. Then the second part was the open boundaries meshing, so that we have not the whole container, only the top of the boundaries. So that took a little bit longer, like 12 hours. The third part was the ocean spectrum. That is that we have like the waves on the top also, that you have the feeling that is deep inside. So we have only a plane, but you have also the look that is deep inside. And the third part was then integrated all the foam stuff also on the downside, right? all the forms are also to the mesh. That's also done in RealFlow, and later integrated and rendered with Octane. And yeah, this is the final result is here.
Yeah, and from a compositioning standpoint, rendering, the most things we rendered with Octane,
Yeah.
and some we can render with a cinema
Oh, yeah.
standard camera. But the foam in Krakatoa,
Yeah.
we have to use the rig again, so the 6-camera rig. We rendered every point of view, and then later used the cube map and converted it back to an equirectangular map, because Krakatoa doesn't support the spherical camera.
And also this scene, this is the last scene of the harbor when the ship comes, and this was, oh my god, this was my nightmare scene of Turbulence FD. This is around 3,200 frames long, and yeah, my supervisor came to me and said, okay, here's the scene, 3,200 frames long, and I need the smoke from the chimneys of the ship all the way down. So it was a nightmare to simulate all these chimneys with the smoke, and at the end we have around 1,000 gigabytes and cache data only for the smoke. But the reason is I want to have the best possible result for the smoke, and yeah, this took a lot of time. So
yeah, and the problem, the 360 point of view, is you can see everything all the time. So we couldn't cut or fake our way out. Like also for the ocean, we had when we started simulating this, we wanted to have a good resolution of it, because it doesn't matter if the ocean is far away, but it's also right in front of you, and we need a smooth resolution for the whole mesh. Yeah, and now there's a little teaser of the whole 360 history project, because this was one first try when we started photogrammetry and scanning. That's a dinosaur statue standing in front of our office, and this was the first test. And after that, we did it in a really big scale. So this is the airport, which I showed you, and you can see we have our LiDAR scanner, which makes like the point clouds and everything to measure it up. And I think it took a whole day to scan just the one big room. We also had like different bunkers in that area, which you can later walk around. And we also did 6,000 photos just of the big room with that rig. So our guys from the VR department had like 3 cameras. They were all controlled by remote, but the remote was too short to use it from the floor. So one of the guys had always drive with the whole thing through the area, and it was shaking a lot. But he was the one who was chosen. So. Yeah, and after that we did like the photogrammetry, we stitched it, and then they made it game ready. But we also used it like you saw in the presentation of the camera projection, and they remapped it and made it very small. So this is a little sneak peek from the bunker, and there's going to be a story of a girl. And there's a robot helper that guides you through all the things. And yeah, it's shown next week, the first time in Berlin at the Republica. Also the 5 episodes we made of the history, 360-degree videos. And this is work in progress. I guess today the guy finished our guys finished that product, and next week it's shown. It's like the first level. It's the bunker where it starts, and you can see you can relive the story of the girl. And we have stories from the Cold War, from World War II, and the history of aviation. And yeah, if you're in Berlin, check it out. We would appreciate it. And that was a presentation. Thank you. Thank you for Maxon for having us here. And also tomorrow at 14 o'clock, I guess, 14 o'clock, we're having this presentation again at the booth of Maxon and A&D. So if you know someone who is interested to see this presentation, or if you want to see it again, then go ahead, check it out tomorrow, 14 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any questions? You mean stereoscopic 3D? Yeah, it was a kind of thing from time and budget. We thought about it, but also there was a problem of a quality camera. We built the rig ourselves, and if we wanted to do a stereoscopic camera that was built in that quality with high-end camera lenses, that was the first problem. We stopped it. If we would have made it that way with stereoscopic, I guess you can render it with a cinema camera already in a stereoscopic kind of way. I don't know if Octane could do it. I guess we had to use 2 Octane cameras, and then we had to render the whole thing twice, and then we wouldn't make it to the deadline, I guess. Yeah, so we didn't stereoscopically. It's possible what the first beginning of the project we decided not to do it for this reason.
So what is the ideal platform for watching these?
Well, because the ZDF as a broadcast station wanted to do it in the first place as an innovation project. They wanted to make like the VR thing as a special thing, just to try it out. They know not many users have the Oculus, or not many users, which are usually your TV users, don't have the VR glasses, the Vive or the Oculus. So they wanted to make it this special one as an exhibition. And the 360-degree videos, they wanted to have them on old scale. So you can use it on the Oculus, or just your phone and cardboard, and they put it on their own website. They make a landing page, YouTube, Facebook. So one thing is special and very innovative. They did it just in one place. And the other thing is like they're trying to spread it and check out how the public would like it, and if they want to have more of that. Yeah.
What other software did you use for the compositing? Just
compositing, yeah.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Don't mind.
Well, I like to work just with regular After Effects in this case. If you use Nuclear Fusion, it's cool if you have different shots from the same point of view, but we just had one long shot, and then I like to use it better to level everything out in the timeline and not with nodes, because it's like 3 minutes of layers, and that's made everything easier for me. All right.
Someone else? No.
If there are no further questions, then I think.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Yeah.